Well, I think they're watching because, for number one is, one would be curiosity, but I think basically, that I think people know that I exercise discretion in every single case. And I take into consideration the background of the people that appeared before me, right? And so if warranted in a case because of those circumstances, then I exercise my discretion very liberally and try to help them by understanding their personal situations. I place myself in their shoes. My father, my parents came from the home. That's how I was brought up. I was brought up to help other people, even though we had very little. I do have a soft spot for children. It's, one episode in a child's life can change that child. I know of a situation where a young man went to court with his dad and was translating because he was from a foreign country. And the judge was so understanding that actually changed that man's life. And I always thought that if that judge was mean and cruel and didn't help, that things would have been a lot different for that person. The most viral case was a 96-year-old gentleman who came to court, and he was charged with speeding. And so I asked him how he pled. I said, "How do you plead?" And he says, "I don't speed." He says, "However," he says, "I was driving my son to a doctor for cancer treatment." And I said, "How old is your son?" And he said, 63 years old. And so I tried to put him at ease, and I said, "Oh, these kids, you always have to take care of them, And so we had a wonderful conversation about that, but I was so moved that a 96-year-old gentleman would still be taking his child for cancer treatments. And so I dismissed this case, but that's not the end of Victor. I then visited Victor at his home, and I actually became friends with Victor and helped him celebrate his 100th birthday very recently. And I've also invited Victor to my home. So sometimes being in court, is a little bit more than judge and respondent, So anyway, that case went viral, and that's one of the cases that I remember very well. Of judges, understand, compassion, understanding, have compassion. I'm really not in the business of giving other judges advice because they do a pretty good job. But I try to set the example that people who appear before me to treat them with compassion and understanding and integrity, And that's the mode that I have. By and large, I think judges do a good job.